The story kicks off with our main characters, Tristan and Tiola, rolling up to this random spot that was once a massive lake. Tiol starts yapping about some legendary battle where Escanor literally went supernova and evaporated all the water. It's giving main quest energy from the jump. Escanor's power, Sunshine, was so intense that it turned a whole lake into a crater, which is low-key the most epic terraforming I've ever heard of. Tristan and Tiola decide this place is way too important to ignore and start their investigation, hoping to make a huge discovery. They stumble upon this ancient tree that somehow survived the whole lake evaporation event, which is sus. A little fox seems to be guiding them, acting like a classic video game NPC, leading them to the next objective. The vibe is getting mysterious, and they're totally here for it. The fox leads them into a hidden cave that's not on any map, and the excitement is real. It's dark and spooky, but Tristan is all in, basically saying, "Let's get this bread," while Tiole is a little more hesitant. The adventure is officially leveling up from a simple investigation. Deep underground, they discover this massive, forgotten space that feels like it's straight out of an ancient legend. It's a huge find, and they're both buzzing about the implications. This isn't just a cave, it's a whole lost world they've just stumbled into, a true gamer moment. They find some bizarre patterns on the ground, a puzzle that looks like it's guarding something important. Tristan, with his big brain energy, figures it out pretty quickly, and a hidden door grinds open. He's totally ready for whatever boss battle or treasure room lies ahead. Out of nowhere, they get jumped by golems that seem to be made with giant clan magic. Tiol recognizes the magical signature, which means things are getting way more complicated than they expected. This isn't just a random ruin, it's tied to some serious players in their world. After a close call with some aggressive golems, a mysterious pendant Tristan found seems to activate and save them, opening a new path. They have no clue what this thing is, but it's clearly the main plot device. They're just rolling with the punches, trusting the magical bling. The pendant's power somehow causes the entire evaporated lake to refill in an instant, and then an ancient dragon shows up. As if that's not enough chaos for one day, they spot a talking pig, which Tiole's parents used to talk about. The weirdness factor is off the charts. They figure out the talking pig is Hawk, who can transform by eating things. He apparently ate a fish to escape the dragon, which is a pretty solid survival strategy. Now they just have to wait for him to turn back before he accidentally drowns, adding some urgency to the situation. They finally meet Hawk, who's comically confused about who they are. When Tristan reveals he's the son of Meliodas and Elizabeth, Hawk's brain basically short-circuits. He's been in purgatory, where time flows differently, and missed a whole generation of lore. Hawk gets the rundown on how much time has passed, and is surprisingly chill about it. The group decides to stick together and investigate all the bizarre happenings, from the restored lake to Hawk's sudden appearance. It's the start of a brand new, very strange adventuring party. Their first lead is a species of frog that was supposed to be extinct, which has randomly reappeared. This confirms that the weirdness isn't just a one-off thing. Reality itself seems to be glitching. Their quest is now to figure out what's causing these temporal anomalies. After Hawk gets hurt, he drops some useful knowledge. Dandelion root can be used to make a healing potion. It's a classic RPG moment of crafting on the fly. This little bit of survival skill proves that Hawk is more than just comic relief. He's a surprisingly useful guide. Their next stop is to visit a hunter who lives in the forest. Tristan figures he'll have the best intel on any other strange changes in the area. They're being smart about their investigation, gathering information from local sources before rushing into more trouble. A solid strategy. They encounter a golem that's going berserk, and Teol notices a strange stone in its chest, similar to one they saw in the cave. This suggests that some external force is causing the local fauna and constructs to become hostile. The plot thickens with every step they take. Hawk's hunger leads them on a wild goose chase for a sweet smell, which turns out to be honey. This little side quest introduces them to jump mushrooms, adding a bit of platforming fun to their adventure. Even in a serious investigation, there's always time for a snack break. They finally meet the hunter, Isaf, who confirms he's seen a huge dragon and that the forest's atmosphere feels off. His testimony validates their suspicions that something is deeply wrong. He agrees to teach them a recipe in exchange for a favor, a classic NPC quest. Suddenly, the forest animals start panicking, sensing a new danger. This is a classic horror movie trope, where the animals know something is wrong before the humans do. The crew realizes this is a serious omen and prepares for whatever is coming their way, guided by nature's alarm system. Out of nowhere, this gnarly monster just spawns from a black patch on the ground, looking like a final boss from a game nobody's heard of. The whole squad is shook, and even Hawk, who's seen it all, has no idea what it is. The stakes just got raised significantly. After defeating the monster, they find a weird seed-like object left behind. Teole tries to touch it, but it's completely immune to his attacks. Realizing they're out of their depth, they decide to head back to the capital to report their findings and hopefully get some answers. They run into Hauser, now a seasoned holy knight, who is dealing with a full-blown monster invasion in the capital. He's shocked to see Hawk, who he thought was still in purgatory. The reunion is cut short by the chaos, highlighting how serious the situation has become for everyone. Things get even weirder when a deceased holy knight, Marmus, shows up and starts attacking. It's not a ghost, but his actual body, seemingly reanimated. They realize he's either being controlled or is acting out of a deep-seated grudge, turning a former hero into a tragic enemy. After a tough fight, they manage to subdue Marmus without killing him. He briefly regains consciousness, confused about what happened, confirming he wasn't in control. This event adds another layer to the mystery, proving that the dead are literally not resting in peace. Tristan reports to his grandfather, King Bartra, and presents the mysterious pendant. No one in the kingdom recognizes it, and Bartra reveals he's had a new prophecy about a coming apocalypse. All the strange events are now officially linked to a world-ending threat. Tristan volunteers to go to the Fairy King's forest to investigate further, but Bartra shuts him down, saying it's too dangerous. The pendant then zaps a guard who tries to take it, proving it has bonded with Tristan. This mystical object is clearly choosing its wielder. Despite being told to stay put, Teole suggests they sneak out and go to the Fairy King's forest anyway. He feels a personal responsibility since it's his homeland. This rebellious spirit shows their determination to solve the mystery, even if it means disobeying orders. Hauser reveals that he convinced Bartra to let them go, but with a condition. They must first prove themselves by solving some of the ongoing crises around Liones. Their first official mission is to investigate a giant bird that has appeared on the coast. The trial has begun. They arrive at the coast to find that the terrain has been completely altered, with a giant nest and eggs. The parent bird shows up and it's predictably angry. Their first test is a classic monster hunting quest, forcing them to work together against a massive territorial beast. Hauser, who was secretly following them, steps in to help finish off the giant bird. He admits that he was worried about them and decides to officially join their party as a chaperone. With a seasoned knight on their side, their chances of survival have just gone way up. Their next mission leads them to a cave where they find a scholar being attacked by a giant moss monster. Just as they jump in to help, the scholar reveals she's perfectly capable of defending herself. This mysterious woman is clearly more than she appears to be. The scholar, named Kloto, reveals she knows about Tristan's pendant and gives them a cryptic clue about a red tree. She warns them that their journey is more than just an adventure and that she will take the pendant if Tristan proves unworthy. The lore is getting deep and personal. Following Kloto's clue, they find a man who was harassed by werebears, carrying a heavy stone monument. This monument, a stellar stele, seems to be what Kloto was leading them to. They decide to investigate the werebear camp, walking right into a potential trap. The werebear chief reveals they found the stone monuments when the lake reappeared. He explains they were collecting them to fight their rivals, the werewolves. This local conflict has accidentally gotten tangled up in the larger, world-altering mystery they're trying to solve. The pendant suddenly activates, pointing towards the bottom of the lake. They realize Kloto's clues were meant to lead them here all along. Despite the danger, Tristan is determined to follow the pendant's lead, believing it holds the key to understanding everything that's happening. Underwater, they discover what looks like a giant clan research lab. It's filled with unreadable texts and schematics, suggesting a deep, forgotten history. They also find recent footprints, meaning they're not the first people to have found this hidden location, adding a new layer of intrigue. A secret passage opens up, leading them to a room with a special book. The text is still unreadable, but it feels incredibly important. This discovery hints at a much larger story about the giants and their ancient knowledge, which might be connected to the current crisis. When Tristan touches a large artifact, he gets a sudden vision of people discussing a star of the book and a failed experiment. He blacks out and wakes up confused, with only fragmented memories of what he saw. This vision is the first major clue about the pendant's true name and purpose. The pendant absorbs energy from a nearby stele, and Tristan feels like something inside him has changed. The cave starts to collapse and they barely escape. The pendant is clearly leveling up, but its growing power is also causing dangerous instability in their surroundings. Back in Liones, Tristan decides to use the pendant's newfound power to repair the damage from the monster attack. This act of kindness not only helps the townspeople, but also solidifies his worthiness as the pendant's wielder, completing the final part of Hauser's test. Kloto reappears, revealing the pendant is the Star Cradle, and Tristan has awakened its power of restoration. She offers to help him on his journey, confirming she's a powerful ally. This marks a turning point as they now have a guide who understands the mystical forces at play. Before they depart for the Fairy King's forest, King Bartra sends them new outfits as a gift. It's a classic JRPG moment of getting new gear before a major quest. This gesture shows that they have the full support of the crown, even as they head into unknown territory. Their journey hits a snag when they find the port deserted and a ship completely destroyed. Instead of giving up, Tristan uses the Star Cradle to perfectly reassemble the ship from its fragments. This is the first time he's used its power so deliberately, showcasing his growing control. They arrive near the Fairy King's forest, and Teol, in his element, takes the lead. He explains that the forest is protected by a magical barrier that makes it invisible to outsiders. His confidence shows how much this part of the journey means to him personally. As they travel, Teol shares stories about his parents, King and Diane, and how his father had to earn back the trust of the fairies. This backstory provides important context for the current state of the forest and highlights the themes of leadership and redemption. The forest's defensive barrier seems to have been strengthened, which is unusual. Teole notes that it's much harder to navigate than usual, suggesting that the forest is on high alert. This immediately tells them that the strange occurrences have reached his home as well. They learn from some local fairies that King and Diane are away and that strange things have been happening in the forest. This confirms their fears and explains the strengthened barrier. The fairies agree to take them to see Gerard, the sacred maiden of the forest. They have a shocking encounter with what appears to be a younger version of Teole's father, King, who doesn't recognize him. This is the most direct evidence yet that the timeline is fractured, as beings from the past are now physically present in their world. Gerard confirms that the person they saw is indeed a version of King from before he had fully awakened his powers. She also reveals she knows about the Star of the Book from an ancient fairy named Daisy, who told her it could manipulate time. Despite Gerard's warnings, Teole insists on talking to the younger version of his father. He's curious about the legendary hero he's heard stories about, but Gerard cautions him that this version of King is from a time before he became that hero, setting up a potential emotional conflict. Teole finds his father's past self in a state of depression, believing he's in a dream where he hasn't failed everyone he loves. This version of King is racked with guilt and self-doubt, a stark contrast to the confident King Teole knows, which deeply upsets him. Teole gets angry and confronts his father, telling him to snap out of it. The emotional weight of seeing his hero so broken is too much for him. This confrontation doesn't work, as the past King retreats further into his belief that this is all a dream. To clear his head, Teol takes them to a playground for young fairies. There they encounter screechers, creatures whose cries suddenly cause Teol to feel faint. This isn't normal behavior for them, suggesting they're being influenced by the same dark force affecting the forest. The past King, despite his emotional turmoil, shows up to help when he sees the young fairies are in danger. He saves them from the screechers, proving that his heroic instincts are still intact, even if he doesn't believe in himself. This is the first step in his redemption arc. They discover a strange black shard embedded in the screecher that was causing the trouble. Once removed, the creature returns to normal. This shard is the first physical evidence of the corrupting influence, linking it to the monsters they fought in Liones. The mystery is starting to connect. They meet one of Teol's friends who can communicate with the screechers. He learns that a strange hooded figure is responsible for their corruption. This figure told the creatures to bring the young fairies to the south side of the forest, revealing a deliberate, sinister plot. They meet the ancient fairy, Daisy, who confirms the Black Shard is not related to the Star of the Book, but is a separate, dangerous force. She warns them that a powerful, malevolent presence is in the forest and points them towards where the missing children might be. They reach a part of the forest filled with poisonous fog, which Tiole explains can be cleared with wind. It's a classic environmental puzzle that requires them to use their abilities creatively to proceed, testing their teamwork and resourcefulness in a new way. They rescue one of the missing children, who tells them that the other fairies were led away by the manipulated screechers towards the Forest of Temptation. The trail is getting warmer, but the destination sounds ominous, raising the stakes for the rescue mission. The past king, who had been secretly following them, finally decides to join them openly. He admits that he's worried about the children and can't stand by any longer. This marks a significant shift in his character as he starts to accept his role and responsibility again. King senses a powerful, dark presence and decides to split from the group to investigate it, sending them ahead to find the children. He trusts Hawk's keen sense of smell to guide them, showing that he's starting to act like a leader again, making tactical decisions. They find the children, who are unconscious but safe, thanks to one of the forest's guardians who protected them. They realize someone deliberately lured the children and the screechers here, but the ultimate goal is still a mystery. The plot is far from over. They discover a large group of screechers seemingly guarding a strange, pulsating plant. It's the same type of plant that spawned the monster in Liones. They realize this is the source of the corruption, and the screechers are being used to protect it. The leader of the screechers communicates that a hooded figure manipulated them, confirming the existence of a central antagonist. This shadowy figure is pulling the strings, using the forest's creatures to further their own dark agenda. The heroes now have a clear enemy. Gerard arrives with bad news. She can't contact the real king and Diane, and a dark magic is spreading throughout the forest. The situation is escalating quickly, and the mysterious hooded figure's plan seems to be entering its next, more dangerous phase. They find the past king struggling with his self-doubt, talking to his long-lost friend Helbram, who only he can see. Tiole's harsh words from earlier seem to have hit him hard, leaving him feeling useless in this future where he is supposed to be a great king. The group is attacked by more dark monsters in a place that is special to Tiole's parents. Tiole is furious that this sacred spot is being desecrated and fights with a renewed sense of purpose. This personal connection makes the battle more than just a random encounter. Daisy reappears and explains that the timeline is warped, which is why beings like the past king and even Hawk have been pulled into their era. She clarifies that the Star of the Book is responsible for this temporal displacement, but it currently lacks the power to fix it. Gerard reveals that the Great Tree's protective barrier has been partially destroyed. She asks Tiola, as a descendant of King and Diane, to use his inherited magic to repair it. This is a huge responsibility, forcing Tiole to step up and prove his own strength. As Tiole struggles to repair the barrier, the past king steps in to help. By combining their powers, they successfully restore the shield. This act of teamwork not only saves the forest, but also marks a turning point for the past king, who finally starts acting like a true leader. Just as they think they're safe, a giant Albion monster, which they thought was just an inert statue, regenerates and attacks the great tree. They realize the entire diversion with the children was a ploy to buy time for the monster to activate. The final battle for the forest has begun. The past king decides to face the Albion alone, ready to sacrifice himself to protect the future he's seen. He feels that this is his chance to atone for his past failures. It's a powerful, dramatic moment where he fully embraces his heroic destiny, even if it costs him his life. Inspired by his son's words and his own desire to protect his home, King unleashes his full power, using his sacred treasure, Chastifol, in its true form. He single-handedly defeats the Albion, proving that even in this weakened state, he is still the Fairy King. After the battle, King is finally able to see his friend Helbram again, and this time, so can everyone else. Daisy explains that the star of the book is growing stronger, and its power is starting to stabilize the fractured timeline, making the impossible possible. Hauser returns with a message from Bartra. They have been officially appointed as investigators for the kingdom. Their parents are also missing, connecting their disappearance to the larger crisis. Their personal quest has now become an official, high-stakes mission. Teol decides to stay behind to protect the forest, but the past king insists that he go. He tells Teol that it's his duty to protect the forest by supporting his daughter's adventure. It's a touching moment of paternal support, even across different timelines. Daisy explains that the star of the book regains its power by encountering beings displaced in time. To restore the world, they must find these other transferred entities. The pendant then shows them their next destination, turning their journey into a world-spanning quest. Following the pendant's guidance, they arrive in a new village and are immediately met by a panicked fairy. He tells them that his friends and the villagers have been kidnapped by a mysterious group called the Draconians. A new arc begins with a classic rescue mission. They learn that the Draconians forced the captured villagers to mine for strange crystals in a place called the Dragon's Grave. This new enemy has a clear industrial motive, which is a departure from the chaotic, magical threats they've faced so far. It's a whole different kind of conflict. They rescue some villagers with the unexpected help of a mysterious girl who is fighting against the other Draconians. She seems to be of the same race, but is clearly not on their side. This internal conflict within the enemy faction adds a new layer of complexity to the situation. They meet the girl again, who introduces herself as Marnie, a priestess of the Draconian race. She explains that she is also from a different time, confirming she's another transferred being. Her people, the Draconians, were once a powerful race that has since gone extinct. Marnie reveals that the crystals are dragon's bloodstones, the source of her people's power. Her king, Drake, is trying to resurrect an ancient evil dragon to create an infinite supply of these stones, a reckless plan that could destroy the world. The stakes are now higher than ever. Marnie explains that the captured villagers are under a spell that prevents them from sleeping, forcing them to work until they die of exhaustion. This cruel tactic adds a sense of urgency to their rescue mission. They must act quickly to save the remaining prisoners. Marnie reveals that her role as a priestess is to perform the ritual to awaken the evil dragon, which is why she fled. Her king, Drake, is also her brother, making her betrayal a deeply personal and painful choice. The conflict is rooted in a tragic family drama. They scout the dragon's grave and see the villagers being worked to death under the influence of the forced awakening magic. Realizing they have little time, they decide to launch a direct assault to free the prisoners, abandoning a stealthy approach for a swift, decisive strike. During the rescue, they are confronted by Kayla, Marnie's mentor and friend. Kayla scolds Marnie for running away, arguing that she should have stayed to try and change her brother's mind. This introduces a new perspective, suggesting that Marnie's choice was not the only option. Kayla proposes a new plan: destroy the storage warehouse containing the collected dragon's bloodstones. This would delay the ritual and buy them time to come up with a better solution. It's a risky but logical plan, and the group agrees to help her carry it out. They arrive at the warehouse to find it completely empty. It was a trap. They are ambushed, and it becomes clear that Drake was one step ahead of them. Their plan has failed, and they are now caught deep within enemy territory with no clear way out. King Drake himself appears and confronts them. To save her new friends, Marnie agrees to go with her brother and perform the ritual. It's a moment of self-sacrifice, as she gives up her own freedom to protect the people who showed her kindness. Despite the setback, Kayla refuses to give up. She explains that Drake is blinded by his duty and that they must stop the ritual at the dragon's altar. The final confrontation is set, and they must now fight their way to the heart of the enemy's stronghold. They find the entrance to the altar sealed by a magical lock that was just destroyed by Drake. Kayla explains that the only way to open it is to reassemble the key from its shattered fragments. Their final challenge before the boss fight is a classic collection quest. They finally reach the altar and confront Drake, who is about to begin the ritual. He refuses to listen to reason, believing that sacrificing the world is a small price to pay for the survival of his people. His fanaticism makes it clear that a peaceful resolution is impossible. During the climactic battle, Marnie manages to destroy the dragon's heart, the artifact needed for the ritual. However, Drake, in a final act of desperation, decides to merge with the dragon's power himself, becoming a living vessel for its destructive energy. Drake sacrifices his own body to become an eternal source of dragon's bloodstones, ensuring his people's survival at the cost of his own humanity. He entrusts the future of the Draconians to Marnie before sealing himself away forever. It's a tragic but noble end for a misguided king. With her brother gone, Marnie accepts her new role as the leader of the Draconian people. She vows to guide them towards a better future, one that doesn't rely on destruction. The group promises to support her, forging a new alliance between their peoples. They return to the village where Teol informs the fairies that the Draconians are no longer a threat and that they will be new neighbors. This resolution marks the successful completion of another major arc, leaving the world a little safer and their party a little stronger.